is the syntax of the query.
Yeah.
You must have heard of SQL construct concept, right? So it will just log the construct of the SQL query that he executed. Similarly, if this was a sales database administrator, if he's accessing sales data, then we have made a policy in Guardium which says log full SQL. It may be possible that sales data is very sensitive or very critical, right? So in that case, we want this collector to log everything that this person is doing, including the syntax, including the whole values, results, and everything. Third thing is, if this person is accessing sensitive data, we have told this collector to throw an alert. Okay, so let's say if he is accessing credit card, so this collector will send out alert in terms of email, SMS, paging alert, something. This is the action that this collector will do. Finally, if this user was an unauthorized user, like this user is not allowed to log on to this database server, but still he did, somehow he got the credentials and he's hacking into it. So then in that case, collector, because we have created policies, it will terminate the user, as in it will not allow the user to um, make connection to this database server at all. Okay, so the thing to remember here is collector receives raw data from the STAP. Okay, it's a raw string of data, nothing else. And then um, database activity data passed and evaluated on the collector. So we discussed this already, that this data is coming as a raw string of data to the collector. Okay, and then we talked about sniffer. So see, there are people get confused between these terminologies. um, Sniffer is also called inspection engine. Some people also call it inspection core.
Yeah.
So as the name implies, inspection engine, which means this is an engine that inspects the packets. So that is why it is written here. Inspection engine applies action based on the security policy. So we discussed that before the collector. Before this blue box, there is a sniffer or an inspection
Thank
engine
you.
here somewhere.
Yeah. Mhm.
Here. So this thing here, it will uh, it will constantly check. So it will compare this data with the policy and keep on taking action, like terminating, alerting, logging, all such action. This part, you know. So that is how the intelligence is given to the collector. Fourth point they have mentioned is logging stored in a normalized relational database. So again, this goes back to database concepts. So what it is telling us is all this activity that happens here between this, right from the database server to the collector, it is then logged into collector's own database for us to see the data. you know and the database type, if you have read about a database type, it is a relational database. In short, it is a database which will store data systematically. So whatever this person did on his client box, um, that gets stored very systematically after all this processing happens by the inspection engine, by the collector, everything. Okay, so next, so it says alert sent based on notification. uh, yeah, this is not very important. So far we have discussed two components of the architecture. One is STAP, which is always sitting on database server. It keeps on forwarding packets to the collector. On the collector, because as the name implies, it's a collector. It keeps on collecting the data, right? It collects the data, and if there are policies installed, it will keep taking actions based on the policies. So if there is an alert, it will send an alert. If it is terminate, it will terminate. So all the brain work is done by this appliance called collector, which is the second component. Any questions before we move on to the third one?
No, no, that's good.
Okay, now the third component will come into picture when you understand why is it required first, right? So we discussed that collector is constantly collecting data. So there will be so this is, the infrastructure you have is a pretty small one. So I am assuming there will be uh, around 8 to 10 database servers, which will be, or I should say, as tabs configured on the first collector. So when you visit your company next time, what you want to do is check how many database server are talking to collector 1 and 2.
I asked the old employees. We
Hmm.
have 10 instance. They said we have 10
Okay.
instance different between Oracle and SQL Server,
Hmm.
and they put on two on both collectors. Distribute.
Got
They
it.
said to distribute the load.
Understood. Okay. So that's what I mean, without even asking, I already mentioned that there are no, normally 10 database servers which are sending traffic to collector 1, collector 2, right? So what you can imagine here is uh, there is this is the database server 1. Or likewise, if you can also imagine 10 different database servers here. Okay, all these are database servers, and all of them are sending traffic to collector 1. And as you mentioned, there is load balancing going on.
A
Okay.
question, teacher, please.
Yeah.
Every collector, there is maximum number of instance can we add, or it depending on the size, space, free space.
Yeah, that's a good question, because no, I mean, ideally, if you are not going for full logging, let's say you just want to monitor the basics. When I say basics, it's maybe some DML commands or just few set of commands. Then the threshold is 255 instances, around 200 to 250 instances on one collector.
Around
Yeah, around 250 instances.
250.
250 instances. Yeah,
Yeah, for every collector.
for each collector.
It can يعني only want put free space, and we can
Yeah.
add
So
250 instance for
right.
every collector.
Correct. So what happens is, uh, see, there is no one fixed formula as to how many database servers you can configure for one collector. So what they do is, to ensure that the capacity planning is done correctly. uh, they they just pick few instances first with full monitoring. So let's say if you are picking 1, 2, 3, 4, right? They start full monitoring on one collector, and then they observe the collector performance constantly. Okay. So if these four, are able to send traffic, and the collector is able to manage them well, right? They keep on adding more database instances. And if they think that these four servers itself are sending so much traffic that this collector is getting overwhelmed, then they switch to another one.
I think we can do it automatic.
We can do it automatic also. We will come to the part where we discuss about load balancing. So two topics are important when it comes to infrastructure. One is load balancing, and one is failover. We will discuss that shortly, but you should be clear with how collector functions. So this is how, um,
Okay.
right? So at the moment, infrastructure component 1, infrastructure component 2. So what I was telling you is, collector will constantly keep storing data. Obviously there will be a point where this box will be full, because it is storing data constantly, right? Now the question is, where should we dump the old data? Right, there should be a server, or there should be some mechanism where we can dump the data. There comes aggregator into picture.
Mhm.
We jump to the, yeah, I think this is exactly how your infrastructure is. So you also have aggregator central manager as one,
Yes, yes.
and then you have, so we can discard this collector, we can discard two collector, you can discard these two. So this is how your infrastructure looks like. Okay.
Yes.
uh, so if we just talk about aggregator, you know you can imagine it to be sort of a hard drive which just does the job of storing data, nothing else. Okay. So this collector is full, it will send data to the aggregator. Again, this one is full, it will send data to the aggregator. So the use of aggregator is very simple. It will store the data, or it will offload the collectors. It will make sure that these two collectors, or whichever collectors are there in your environment also, these have space for new data. Okay. And to ensure that it has space, it will, I mean, every single day it will send the old data to the aggregators through a job, and aggregators will keep collecting the data. Now I'm sure you must be having a question. So how much data should be stored on aggregator, and how much data should be ideally stored on collector, right? So collector, I have seen at the max 3 days of data is kept on the collector, which means whenever you log into this box always have recent 3 days of data for analysis. And whenever
Okay.
you log into the aggregator, it always has around 3 to 6 months of data for analysis, old data. Does that make sense? You have any questions around for the aggregator?
Yeah. I think
Hmm.
there is something called archive and backup.
Yes,
We talked it
yes,
before shortly.
correct.
So
Yes, that's correct.
now you said it is 3 days save data.
True. Yeah.
Type
So
all data will save automatically to central or on the every collector.
yeah. Okay. So collector has 3 days of data. So a collector has its own database, right? As we discussed. It has its own storage mechanism. So it will keep 3 days of data. And then to your question, every night around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., there is a job that runs on the collector, which sends the data to the aggregator daily, on a daily basis.
Type this second option uh,
Hmm.
every morning
Hmm.
send data.
Right.
We should do it as a schedule or it is already coming programmed.
No, it is scheduled. So we have to manually tell the collector that keep only 3 days of data and send the old data to the aggregator. We have to manually
Okay,
schedule a
I
job.
will tell you what happened for us.
Sure.
Uh, before last week, uh, I accessed the admin for
Hmm.
58 and 59. Okay,
Okay. Hmm.
then I make the system monitor.
Hmm.
System monitor show me for 59
Hmm.
collector 70%, and for
Oh.
58 show me 120 or 118%. That
Hmm.
means 58 was full storage, and I think there is some extra storage. I am not sure why it come 118%.
Okay.
So I tell the server manager with us. He
Hmm.
said, contact this support. Then he with me contact someone support them.
Hmm.
He access and make data archive. He activate data archive.
Great.
So
Hmm.
after that, the space coming good.
Great. Great. Hmm.
But
So
I
what you
am
did?
not sure what يعني
Hmm.
I am not sure what is the procedure. يعني if he archive and he said there's something purge or purge, it will
Yes,
delete
it's
some
purge.
data. يعني I
Hmm.
am not taking enough that information about this procedure.
That's all right. That's all right. We have, so we'll be discussing that also. Did you see something like the graph shown on my screen? You see something like this?
Yeah, I see this. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Here it was, شوف here 92. Okay.
hmm,
Our hard disk,
58. Hmm.
yes, one was 70%, second
Mm-hmm.
was 118%.
118. Okay, that is odd, because it should not exceed 100%. So now that we are discussing about these two, and this is called system view, system monitor actually.
Mm,
So what you saw on the console is system monitor. So system monitor is kind of a health check for the collector. If you open system monitor report, there are 8 reports that you will be able to see. So these reports are on top, and then if you scroll down, then you see all these at the bottom. Okay, so what you saw was 70% database utilization.
mm,
So there are two things: one is database utilization, one is hard disk utilization. Okay,
mm.
so
What is
this,
difference between?
yeah, exactly. So this is the thing where most of the administrators confuse. See, this database utilization is collector's own database utilization, which means, if it says 70%, right? It means this collector is 70% being in use for analysis, parsing, and logging of the data that is coming in. Okay. It is not a hard disk space. If you want to talk about hard disk usage, it is in the second graph. But this graph here, it just tells you that the traffic that is coming on to the collector, um, the inflow, according to the inflow, this collector which you have logged on to is being used 70%. Okay, so if let's say there is more traffic that comes, if there's more traffic that comes onto the collector, it may reach 100%. In that case, we can say that this collector is being overused. This collector is being overused, and we have to offload some S taps to some other collector. But the difference is, we just talk about the difference. This is the database utilization, which means the brain that it's using to analyze, parse, and log the traffic, right? The intelligence is used 70%. That's why it says DB utilization. But if you're talking about hard disk, which means that the ROM, or the storage of the files, it is hard disk usage. So if here you see a lot of red, right? This red reaches here, let's say. This one also reaches here. This one also reaches here. So it's, you can say that this collector is almost full, and then you have to schedule archival.
يعني
So
on the first scenario, no need. يعني it is not important archive.
archive will not help in reducing the database utilization. Okay,
Ah,
archive will just delete some files, which is called purge. Okay, it is called purge.
yeah.
Okay, so what happens is, so when you showed the console to your Guardium administrator, he must have seen this area and
Mm.
lot of red in it, and that is why he thought of deleting some files from this collector and moving it somewhere. So this archive and purge, it happens together. So whenever you, so we will talk about where to schedule it. So this is a part of data management.
Yeah.
So whenever a lot of files are there on a collector, it has no space to process anything new, right? That is where this archival comes into place. Now see, in real world also, if we archive some files, right, we are moving the old files that we have in our table drawers to somewhere else to make place for new files, right? Similarly, this is archive, which means we are telling the collector that move the old files to some other location and make space on the hard disk here. Okay, that is archive. So that's what the your administrator did, and this is a huge area of data management. So So I'll tell you where he would have scheduled the archive. So this is catalog archive. This must be the window that he must have opened. Was this the window?
Yeah.
Right. So he noticed that collector was getting full. What he did is he must have put um, number of days that the data should stay on the collector, and number of days data should be ignored. So do you remember how many days he kept the data on the
They put
collector?
1 month, 1 month.
Okay.
And on the second option, ignore data, he said it is not important.
Yeah, that's not important. He's right. So if you set 1 month here, what happens is your collector, like this collector here, this collector is having 1 month of data stored
Mhm.
for analysis. So
Wha-
I was
uh,
referring
one,
to,
1 minute, please. If
sure,
I said 1 month, that means he will keep only 1 month to
that is
analysis,
true.
or
That, hmm,
or يعني as example, if it is collect for 6 months before,
okay.
okay. If I make 1 month,
Hmm.
that mean uh, he will only save uh, the last 1 month.
Yeah, 1 month means at any point you log into this collector, it will have at least 30 to 31 days of data, fresh data.
But what about 6 months before data? It will lost or deleted or what happened?
Yeah, so for that, you have to access the aggregator because collector will be sending old data to the aggregator.
طيب, sorry, teacher, I will
Hmm.
tell you. As example, they start IBM Guardium before
Hmm.
1 year. We're talking
Okay.
about 12 months.
Yeah.
And on this scenario, we put archive 1 month, archive data older than 1 month. Okay.
Right.
What
Hmm.
about uh, 12 months before? We lost this data and keep only 1 month, or that mean the all the data will be saved in somewhere, and we are dealing directly to with 1 month.
Yeah,
I
that's
am
right.
not
So
sure. I am not understand the procedure.
I get you. So what happens is, see, so first thing you agree that collector is getting data every single day, like new data, right? You agree to that?
Yeah.
Like every day, the database administrator are doing transactions and collector is storing data, right? So here, if you set 1 month, right? So let's say I log on to collector one. Today is what? Today is 4th of March, right? So if I log into collector right now, I will be able to see the data from 4th of Feb to 4th of March. That is 1 month.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, if I log on to this collector, I will be able to see the data from 5th of Feb to 5th of March. Okay. Now the question is, what about the data of 4th of March, right? And the older, to your question.
Hmm.
So for that, this collector would be sending data to aggregator every single day. So the data of 4th of Feb will be on the aggregator. Similarly, you need to check with your administrator about something called a retention policy. Let me write it down. Policy means how long have they decided to keep the data on the aggregator? Are they keeping it for 6 months or 1 year or 3 months? Okay. So depending on that, this aggregator, to your question, this aggregator will have very old data also present if your company has decided to retain the data for 3 months or 6 months. And if let's say they come to you and say that we only keep 3 months of data on the aggregator, so to your question, what about the data of March 2022?
Mm.
right? So March 2022 data they would have deleted. Okay. So
And
if you yeah, if you come to
it,
this aggregator and try to see December's data, because this is 1, 2, 3, right? 3 months of data. So from 1st of December, so 1, 2, 3 till 28th of Feb, you will be able to see the data on the aggregator. Does that answer your question, or you still have doubts?
والله still sorry still
No.
يعني we
Mhm.
can يعني can you make it on Excel sheet يعني by months, maybe it will
Sure,
come
definitely, yeah,
very clear. Sorry teacher.
no problem. It's so this is so you, let's say this is a component. We'll give heading as
يعني now we are on March.
2.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
يعني
And
we
let's
can
say
take
retention period and frequency, serial number 1, 2, 3. Okay, collector and aggregator. There are two components only involved, or maybe there's some other server external. Okay, so yeah, today is okay, 3rd of March. Sorry, 4th of March. So then, what's your question?
I mean from this month and go
Mm-hmm.
back to February, go back to
Mm-hmm.
January 2023, then December 2022 يعني
Okay.
last 6 months
Mm-hmm.
before. So
Okay.
what is the state of data now? يعني
Right.
if I make archive for 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
the last 6 months will forget, will delete it, will what? How the procedure will coming?
Okay. See, archive is a one-time process. Okay. First, let's remember that this process is only done when you want to manually offload data somewhere. Okay. So, uh, to your question, you mentioned that so in your environment the retention period is 1 month, right,
Hmm?
on the collector. So 1 month of data is always there. So let's say, um, so I'll say from and to. Okay. So uh, if I say today, sorry, God is equal to,
No problem. We can you make text and
yeah. So this is today as in 3 4. So this collector will have data from 2, or sorry, this is what 4th of March, right? So 2 um, uh, Feb. So 4 to, or the date convention is 2 4. So 1 month of data is present on this one. So anytime you log on to this collector,
here you mean 1 month.
here we
Month you
mean 1 month.
mean
So rather than that, I can say Feb to
yeah
March.
yes
Okay,
yes.
that's easy. This collector, because the retention period is set to 1 month, it will
Mm,
always have the data from Feb to March. Okay. Now, what happens to last 6 months of data? So
yeah.
this collector has something called export.
Mhm.
So what it does is tomorrow, if you log in, the 5th of March, right? So the data of 4th of March would have already gone to the aggregator.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, day after tomorrow you log in, 6th of March. The data of 5th of Feb, 5th of Feb would have already gone to the aggregator.
Yeah.
Okay. So 30 days of data, fresh data, I should say, is always there on collector. Okay, and this is clear until this
Yeah,
point. It is clear.
yeah.
Okay.
That mean it will start one month period from, يعني it is automatically updated. If tomorrow come, start from tomorrow back 1 month.
Exactly.
After next week, he start from next week back 1 month.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's say we are in 25th of March. Okay.
Mhm.
When we log into the collector on 25th of March, we will have data from 25th of Feb to 25th of March.
Yes,
And what
this
about the old
data,
data? Yeah.
yeah, this data and the new data we can deal directly. It mean it is up to date and we can find on the collector.
Exactly. Yeah.
Type all data automatically archived or will deleted automatically or what? يعني if the manager ask me check some task before 4 months before.
Right.
And as example, he make some investigation and he said we
Hmm.
have to check last 4 months about some employees at
Right.
exactly time. How can
Right.
I check?
Sure. So any data which is older than 30 days, right? You have to log on to this aggregator.
Mhm.
Okay. Because see, today minus 1 month, and the data before that is always sent to the aggregator on a daily basis. Okay. So first, as I said, check with your administrator what is the retention period of aggregator. Is it 6 months or 3 months? Let's assume that it's 6 months. Okay. So to your question, if you want data as old as 4 months, you need to log on to this aggregator
Mhm.
and you'll be able to see the data
Yeah,
easily. Okay. um, Now see, the jobs that are running on these two are export and import. So collector is every day it is sending old file to the aggregator, and aggregator every day it is absorbing that file from the collector through import job.
yeah.
Now your question is, where does archive come into picture, right? So archive, first thing is it's not scheduled. It's a one time job, run on need basis. What happened in your project is, because you noticed that your hard disk is getting full, that administrator ran the archive job manually. Correct. This was not scheduled, he did it manually one time. Right. So um, this archive job is used just for offloading the data. So
Uh-huh.
out of the export import job, did not reduce the collector space naturally, then you go for archive. Does that make sense?
Okay. Type. I did some test uh, last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I told you, teacher,
Mm-hmm.
there is some support guy access to us and he check why it is 118%,
Mm-hmm.
and he make activate archive data older than 1 month, and
Mm-hmm.
he test he inside he test the connection for archive, then
Mm-hmm.
he make archive and purge. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And he said you have to wait. I am waiting around 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Then I check it. It is less than 118 to 97. Okay.
Okay.
So I tried from myself. I tried. I make it 2 months.
Okay.
I do from my side and on my responsibility. I want
Mm-hmm.
more space. When I run and I go to check report archive, there are three reports for archive, I think, that show
Mm-hmm.
you start time and end time.
Mm-hmm.
First time when he run, he show me that report. He said
Mm-hmm.
start time, and he said when end time come, that's mean it archive completed. Okay.
True. Yes.
Uh, but when I do that runs, I
Mm-hmm.
enter the reports. There are start and end. يعني the Guardium tell me it is starting, but I did not find the start and end.
Okay.
So this uh, give me one question. If I make it is automatically scheduled,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that means Guardium will take this task. Yani also if I run manual, it will not run. You
No, it
understand
will
the
run.
question?
Yeah, yeah. If it even if it is not scheduled, it should give you the end time, and there should also be another column which says successful. So you're saying you.
I check
Mm-hmm.
his reports. It
Mm-hmm.
show me start time and time at the same time. Maybe because he was making archive new. Yeah, that mean when I run archive for 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
it should take some time for 2 months, right?
It should take. Uh, yeah. So see. Let's go back to the archive screen. I'll explain what happened. Where is archive system architecture, capturing traffic, system view, and here is data archive. So here you're saying he set it for 1 month.
Yeah,
Here he put one, and here he put month.
1 month. Yes, and he
Okay.
down he test the
Eh,
archive.
yeah.
Then he make purge, and he run the archive. Okay,
Got it. Mhm.
and he show me a report
Mhm.
regarding archive. He said when uh, you see end time, let
Right.
me know. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
Type. After that, after he finished this task, I see the size. It was database utilization still 97%.
Right. I'll tell you what
So
happened. So see.
I you get it, huh?
Mhm. I got your question. So
Mhm.
see you. So first step is you notice that the database utilization was very high. So you informed him, and he ran the archive, and that brought down the space. That is the first thing that happened, right?
Yeah,
And then you thought you want more space, so you set you made two here, and then run again. Is it
yeah.
right?
But when I run, يعني I make it is as test for me.
Hmm.
Uh, when he run, I saw report start time, and the time was blank.
Right.
Okay, but
Hmm.
when I run, I find the start time, but and end time the same on the report.
Correct. Correct.
I am waiting, nothing come. So be, on the setting, he make 5 a.m. morning. Okay,
Hmm.
when I come next day, I check
Hmm.
the size. The size was good. The size was less than 60%. But
Okay.
yesterday when I make run and I am waiting, the size still 97, 97. It's not. That
Yeah.
means I
Yeah.
think the Guardium take a priority for schedule, not for manual.
No, no, no. It's not like that. See,
Mhm.
when you set archive data older than 1 day, when you're administrator, he put one archive data older than 1 month. Okay, which means um, older than 1 month. Let's understand. We are in March. Okay, this is the current month. So what your admin did at the first step is older than 1 month. So this data was there on the collector, but everything else, let me make it yellow. So this data is already archived.
يعني if I ask 1 month, it will
Hmm.
keep 1 month on collector and other will archive.
Yes, exactly. So this is archived
Ah,
on the
I understand, miss. I misunderstand when he access. I think if I put 1 month, that means he will archive this 1 month.
yes, correct. So what he did is kept the data from Feb to March on the collector.
Please let me يعني
Sure,
focus on this. Sorry, teacher.
no
Sorry.
problem, no problem. Go ahead.
I will tell you something. When he make 1 month uh, archive, for
Mm-hmm.
me, I understand. I understand. He take this 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he move this 1 month to external storage and keep space free for 1 month. That I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Is it right or it is not right?
Space for 1 month means didn't get
يعني,
you.
can you
Yeah,
return back to picture, please?
yeah.
Sure. Here, archive data older than 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
What I understand, for I will tell you, I understand if we have 6 months before data, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we put archive data older than 1 month, that means we take only last 1 month. This last 1 month, we take the data, we move data to external storage and make free space only for 1 month. Is it right or I am mistake?
See, about freeing space for 1 month, that is not correct.
Uh-huh.
But yes, you are right when you say data is there for 1 month on the collector. So what happened is, uh, see, let's say,
يعني it will
hmm,
ignore. يعني if I make 1 month, it ignores 6 months before. يعني only show me last 1 month updated.
so did you put 6 here where it says ignore older than?
No, no,
Did you
no.
put?
I did not put.
Okay, nothing.
I put two. يعني he make 1 month down. I put 2 months. Ignore
Oh,
data two
here you have
months.
put. Okay,
Yeah. So I am not. يعني I did not understand the procedure how it's come. يعني what
okay,
data will archive and what data will be active to check.
okay.
I
So
wish you
first question,
understand my
uh,
question. Mm.
yeah, yeah, I understood. So see, collector was full. First thing you notice, the collector was full, right?
Yes.
So your administrator assumed that there is more than 1 month of data which is eating up the space on the
Mhm.
collector.
Yeah.
Okay, so he came to archive, he set one here and then run the archive. So what happens now is data older than 1 month, this one here.
Yeah.
Okay, data older than 1 month will be deleted from the collector completely,
Mhm.
and it will be exported to a backup. It may be an aggregator, it may be a server, we don't know.
Server backup. Yes, we have server.
Yeah, so this ip,
Yeah.
this is where the backup will happen.
Yeah. That mean any data before 1 month, it will be go to server.
This server, correct.
So
So
at this stage,
mhm,
the collector will keep only 1 month data, right?
true. Yes, the collector will keep Feb to March data. So Feb 4th to March 4th. If you do it today. So if you have done it last week, let's say last week was what, 28th of Feb. So assuming you did it on 28th of Feb, right? This collector would keep the data from 28th of Jan to 28th of Feb, 1 month.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. يعني
See,
I will summarize what I understand. I will
sure.
if I keep 1 month uh, archive,
Mm-hmm.
and activate purge option.
Right.
That
Mm-hmm.
mean only I will see the last 1 month of
True.
data. Other,
Yep.
it will be go to backup server. Sure.
Exactly. 100%.
خلاص.
Yep.
طب what is better, 1 month or 2 month keep?
On the collector, they keep it only for a few days. So I'm surprised when you said 1 month. You know.
Okay, I will. Yes, that guy he make 1 month and he said it is like this good. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, I make 2 months because I think if I make 2 months, it will move more data to backup. You understand that?
That's what. Yeah. That's where the confusion was.
That's my mistake.
Yeah.
Understand me, teacher?
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. So the reason why you saw the start and end time is same is because the administrator already had taken the backup of data older than a month. So now
Mm,
what you did is you told the collector, now minus 2 months. So you
mhm.
came here and you said archive data older than 2 months, but because see now
Already he
collector
taken.
already taken. Yeah, so start time end time finish in a second.
Aha. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I think you get it 100%.
Yeah, yeah, I got what happened.
Mhm.
And trust me, this is the place where majority of the administrators make mistakes because they don't understand this thing. And then what happens is collector keeps getting full, like the system monitor. It keeps on showing 100%, 90%, and the performance is very poor because of this.
Also, there's one option another. He said,
Hmm.
the support guy, he said, all data will archive, it will go as compressed data.
That
So
is
he
true.
is right
Yes, that is true.
to save space, right?
That is correct. Yes. So so everything goes out of the collector compressed only. There is no raw files. There is no .xl or .csv. Nothing like that. Whichever data goes out of the collector is compressed, and whichever data goes inside the aggregator is also compressed.
Mhm.
So .zip, there is a job called export, runs on a daily basis, and that is absorbed by the collector through import job. This is what happens. And if you think you want to manually free some space, you run archive.
With Birch, huh?
Archive plus purge. So what happens now is collector zips the file again and then sends it to the backup server. And next, what it does is purge, which means so purging happens. So this step happens first, and then so
Yeah,
data that is already
archive,
sent. Hmm,
archive, archive happen first.
exactly.
Then the purge will be on collector, not on central manager, right?
True, true, true. So whatever data it has already sent to the backup server, it will delete from its own storage.
Mhm. That mean uh, the data move to copy to backup. It is only data I have. If I lost on backup, I will lose data, right?
That is true. That's correct.
Mm. طيب, is it easy? يعني if as example, teacher, if I want something to check before 6 months or
Hmm.
5 months, I
Yeah.
have to يعني make restore for something. Is it easy way?
Yeah, so there is a restore job as well. So let's say your manager comes to you and asks for data of last year, October.
Mhm.
Okay. So in that case, you have to come to the collector and run the restore job. Okay. While
Uh,
you run the restore job, also, you will get the same screen like you got on the archive. It will ask you from which date to which date you want to pull the data on the collector for analysis.
mhm. I have to
Okay.
specify the file or Guardium will know.
No, no, you have to specify the file path, and the server where the backup is. So yeah, let me see if I get that window here.
Sorry for my questions, but
That's all right. It's
I
good questions.
I expect what they want from my side.
Absolutely. No, those are good questions. So see this restore in the restore. So what you do next time is just search for restore on top on the user interface. Okay. Um, you'll see the same kind of window as archive, but a few options will be different. So it will ask for the backup server IP where the file is stored, and it will ask for a range. So you don't have to specify the file name, but you have to tell the collector that uh, give me the file for October from this server. So it will pull automatically.
Type when data archived, there is named. Yeah, there is a clear name for every file. That mean which
That is a
month?
clear name. Yes, yes. It has a timestamp. It has a timestamp, and Guardium's own ID also.
Mhm.
You know. So see the file name is something like this. It's not very much readable, but this is a long file name. This is one file which is exported through SCP protocol, secure copy.
Yeah,
See, if you want to see how many files were archived, just open something called catalog archive.
catalog archive.
Yeah, so catalog archive is sort of a menu card.
Mm.
It will tell you how many archives happen, when did they happen, where are they stored through this report. What you see here, you'll get such report, and you'll know what happened in terms of archive. Make sense?
Okay.
You have more questions on the jobs? We haven't reached jobs, but
You know because I am new on this job.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah, therefore,
try
I mean,
to. Yeah, I try to success on every task I found. Mm,
that's I think that quality will help you get this role easily.
inshallah, inshallah.
See, let me. So, where is that diagram which shows here? So, in your environment, this is exactly the scenario which is there. Maybe I can just use a snipping tool and just create a new file, and maybe I can just delete these two. Let's keep collector 1, collector 2, and 3, 4 will remove. Okay. So this is what is existing in your environment.
Sure. Yeah, yes.
Okay, and the dotted line is management. So central manager is also distributing things to these two collectors, and the dark line is aggregation, which means these two collectors are sending files constantly on a daily basis to this appliance.
Mhm.
And your archival, right? Archival is happening at a separate location, some other box. If you want to know what that box is, you can go to your archival window and see what IP is mentioned. Is the IP of the aggregator or some other server that you can check? This is external server. So archival can happen at any location in your company. There may be some server just dedicated for archival. You can easily use that server for archives. But this import export usually happens on the aggregator only.
Export and import.
Yeah, these export import jobs that we discussed, where is that? Here. These jobs, export, import, you know this happens on the aggregator only. So collector exports data and aggregator imports that the same file. So the device is aggregator only because that is its function. It pulls file from the collector.
Yeah.
But this archival in your company looks like they are using some external server to
Yes.
store the data.
Yeah. Backup server, IBM
Backup
server,
server, yeah.
the same IBM server.
Okay, then it should be, yeah, maybe some storage mechanism. So maybe check the IP of that server and see if that's an aggregator or what that is exactly.
Again, please.
Yeah, I'm saying that. So let me. Where is that manual? Architecture, central manager, data archive. See here where you have. Okay, so this host IP, right? This thing. So when you log on to your environment, just check what this host IP is. So if they are using aggregator, here you'll have aggregator IP mentioned. If they are not using an aggregator, there will be some external server, some server which is not given by IBM Guardium team.
Yeah.
So you must be having some server list or IP
Yeah.
list where you can.
Here we
Hmm.
have IBM server. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, I entered the server remotely.
Okay.
For me, teacher, I understand the IBM Guardium should be installed on Linux environment, right?
Yeah, that's a hardened Linux. You're right.
Yeah, but IBM server, it was Windows server. Maybe it is virtual machine installed.
Yeah, that's correct. It should be a virtual machine, and then they must have installed an ISO on that machine.
لا يعني I mean يعني for our status now.
Hmm.
I asked the server manager. He said this is the IP of server. I access remotely from my
Hmm.
PC on work. It was Windows server. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So.
maybe this Windows server
Hmm.
is virtual machine and the main operating system Linux, or what I am not understand.
Yeah. So you're mentioning here the IP, whichever IP was mentioned, you accessed it remotely, and it was a Windows server. Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
maybe it
Now,
is virtual or it is they can configure IBM on Windows server.
no, no. So that I think that would have nothing to do with Guardium or IBM. This is a server. It is sort of a hard disk only. Okay, that server is a backup server used to store these files from the collector. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
maybe it is different server.
It's Yeah, it's a completely different server, just used for storing the files from the collector. Okay, so it is not
Yeah,
IBM. It may not be
uh,
Guardium. Yeah.
maybe Guardium is different because it should be Linux system, right?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, see, this is just a host where collector is sending files. Now, once it has
Mm,
sent files, collector doesn't care whether it is Linux, Guardium, IBM. It doesn't care.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just a simple server with a lot of storage, and it is sending files. That's all.
Mm,
So it can be Windows, it can be anything. So all we want is it should give us the file when we require.
yes, yes.
Okay. So three jobs always exist on any environment: import, export, and archive. And one final job that you would be seeing on the central manager here, that is the system backup that you maybe will explore in your coming days.
Uh, I not understand the question, teacher.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, let me show you in the manual first. System view data management. Okay, it's not mentioned in the manual, but in any case, there are four jobs present on the whole Guardium system. Three of which we already discussed. Okay, one is export, second one is import, third one is archive, and fourth one is system backup.
Backup. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So system backup is running mostly on the central manager only. Okay. So this is like, if a central manager totally crashes, like everything is gone, right?
Hmm.
If you want to restore that server as it is, you restore the system backup. Never mind, but I think we don't want to go to that level. I mean, we are just talking about the basics here. So, so, so we were talking about aggregator and the jobs, right? Which is a third component. So one is STAP, second is collector, and then comes the, where is that? Different architectures. Yeah. Then comes the central manager. So you know the function of central manager. You have read somewhere, or you know what this is.
Center manager.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
think it is responsible for collectors. Yeah.
okay. Any
Central
other
manager
usage?
for users rules.
User roles. Okay. Any other use case you can think of?
Central manager.
Okay.
I
First of all, why it is required? I'll tell you. See, let's say there is some. Let's say you have in your environment around 100 collectors. Okay, that's a big environment.
mm,
There are too many collectors, too many aggregators. Okay, and there's a hacking happening outside in the outside world. Okay, and whenever such hacking happens, you have to start patching your environment,
yeah.
right? You agree? So um, if we have 100 collectors, is it possible for a Guardian administrator to log on to each collector and then apply the patch on all the 100? Just imagine how time consuming and how cumbersome it would be.
Yes.
So we have a central manager. Central manager, what you can do is you can apply the patch on the central manager, and then you
Mhm.
can tell central manager to apply the same patch across the 100 collectors in one click.
Uh-huh. It will save time and security.
Exactly.
Mm,
So if you go back to the slide, if you go back to the slide, central manager is mainly used for distribution of things. See, whereas patch management is what we discussed. Okay.
mhm.
Second thing I'll tell you, if let's say 10 people join Guardium team, our team, let's say our team is having already 5 6 people, and 10 people join our team as Guardium administrator. So is it possible for us to make their credentials on each of the 100 collectors one by one? No, right? So in that case, again, use the central manager to distribute the definition. So what you can do is come to the central manager, make the profiles for 10 people, and tell the central manager that these 10 people should be able to log in on all the 100 collectors.
Yeah.
Okay, otherwise, we have to create credentials on each collector, 1 2 3 400. But I'm just informing central manager that, see, 10 people have joined, this is the username, this is the ID, this is the password, and they should be able to log into the whole environment using these credentials. Simple.
Mhm.
So that is the role permission management. Then even the policies. Okay, these collectors, let's say, you want the same policy on all the 100 collectors,
Okay.
right? So you cannot sit and create policies on every single collector. What you need to do is create one policy here and then distribute it. So central manager is used for distribution basically. So that is why it says policy pushed out to all the managed collectors, and most importantly, uh, how would you check the health of all the collectors in one single screen? Right, let's say I want to do the health check of the whole environment. I have 100 collectors and around 20 aggregators, right? I would have to log into each collector and aggregator to get the health,
Yeah.
right? Rather than that, I will log into my central manager where I can see the health of all the components in one single screen,
Mm.
right? So that is how uh, central manager is very very crucial, okay, in any environment. Are you able to relate why central manager is used?
Yes.
Okay, and what about the S tabs? Let's say this collector, your collector 1 is having 10 S tabs, collector 2 is having another 10 S tabs, but I want to see the S tab status of all the 20 in one window. I don't want to log into collector 1, collector 2. I want to see it in one window. Therefore, I will go to central manager where I
Yeah.
can see enterprise level S tab view. So all the S tabs, their statuses, whatever happened.
That mean I can search for a step. يعني when I access manager, central
Hmm.
manager, I
Hmm.
can on search box type a step. It will show me
That is
everything.
correct. That is correct.
Mm.
So if you recall from our GUI labs, we know that the GUI looks the same for all the three appliances: collector, central manager,
I
aggregator.
remember the GUI window. Yes, I remember.
Yes, and there was a search on top, right, where we used to type things and get
Mm-hmm.
results.
Yeah, yeah.
So on that, you can directly type enterprise STAB report on the
Mm-hmm.
central manager. So what's happening in the background is these devices, central manager, collector, they are constantly talking to each other. Okay, and there that is how central manager is aware that STAP on collector 1 is, let's say, red, STAP on collector 2 is green, you know, and the central manager can give a report of everything that's happening in your environment at any point in time.
Okay.
It's an extremely important component, and majority of the patch installation, distribution, all that happens on the central manager only. Okay, so I mean, we did a quick revision of the infrastructure. Again, a quick recap is STAP. It's a very small agent sitting on the database server. It keeps on forwarding the packets or duplicating the packets from the database server to the collector. That is the component number one. Second component is the collector itself, which is the real brain of the whole infrastructure, where you can have policies, where you can create alerts, where you can terminate users. So real intelligence lie on the collectors only. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Without collectors and without policies, Guardium doesn't know what kind of traffic to collect, what kind of traffic to ignore. It's
Should
blank.
be should be create policies, right?
Yes, yes. So a very important role of Guardium administrator is to make sure that policies are created accurately. So
Mhm.
I think once you are in the job on role, they will ask you to create policies or modify the policies that are already there on the collector.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is there, and then comes the third component, that is aggregator. Aggregator has no intelligence. You cannot create anything on the aggregator. It has only one job of storing data.
Mm.
Okay, you can see reports. Let's say I want to see data of all the four collectors in one window. I will open the aggregator.
Yeah.
Now the question is of distribution of patches, definitions, roles, all such good things. You use the central manager. That is the last component. So if you want to do the health check of your environment, if you want to distribute patches, as I said, if you want to distribute definitions in one single click, then you have the central manager.
Yeah. Type
Okay.
teacher, there is something called GIM. It is
Right.
there is relation with the center manager or no?
Absolutely. So I'll give you, this is GIM. Uh, to make it very simple, I'll explain what happened previously without GIM, and then I'll explain what is happening with GIM.
Mhm.
So GIM stands for Guardium Installation Manager.
Yeah.
So let's see what happened without GIM. This was introduced, I think, after version 10 onwards. So let's say I bought Guardium. I have a fresh software Guardium and I want to start the installation.
Mhm.
So initially in previous days, I'm talking about 2018, 2017, and those years, I had to sit with the database administrators actually and give them the setup file and then ask them to install Guardium things on their server so that their database server can send me traffic successfully. It may be a STAP agent, it may be any other agent related to Guardium.
Mhm.
So, in short, I had to constantly ask the database administrators for a downtime for installation of my files,
Mhm.
which is Guardium related. But then came Guardium Installation Manager. So, what now happens is I don't have to sit with the database administrators and give them the setup files. Rather, I will tell Guardium that this is my file, which you have to install remotely on the database server.
Yeah.
Okay, so GIM will directly send the file to the database server and do the installation and come back
Without downtime.
without any downtime. You may just inform the DBA that, see, we are going to install something
Yeah.
through GIM.
يعني it is
Yeah,
used for technical issues, right?
not technical issues, but it is used to keep on upgrading the agents and installing files remotely.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
it says separate agent to facilitate installation and management. Let's say your STAF version is version 10, STAF version installed on the database server is an old version and now you wish to renew it or make it version 11.
Okay.
So what you do is you will log on the collector, you will open GIM, you will take the setup file from IBM technical support, and then you'll feed in the database server information which has old STAF version, and with one single click version 11 STAF will be installed on the database server directly. Okay, that is why it says installs, updates, configures STAF agents. Did this help you understand like the basics of
Yeah, yeah.
GIM?
Yeah.
So previously we had to give the files, like we had to use some mediums. It may be a USB or some storage location. We had to place the files and then ask the database administrator to perform the actions. But now that GIM is here, I don't have to tell the database administrator anything. I can just tell Guardium that, see, this is the database server and this is the file. Go to the database server and install
Mhm.
remotely.
Yeah.
That is GIM. Yeah, so that's why it says installation, update, configuration, staff, fam, cas, all these things, all the agents. So it can be installed from GUI and CLI, both the interfaces. And this is how it looks like. So if you open GIM, it will tell you which database server you want to install the file. That is the first step. Second step is it says which file you want to install. So I said STAP. And then finally, there is an option to install. I don't think it is shown here. Let me see the next page. No, it is not shown here. But there is a button for install, and you can directly click install, and it will be installed on the database server.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is GIM. You also wanted some information about the STAP agent, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So STAP. Let's go back to the architecture. architecture is here. Okay. Uh, so again, let's talk about what happened without STAP to understand STAP better.
Yeah.
Here it is. See, when Guardium was invented, there was no STAP in picture at all. Okay, what they used to do is they used to use some additional devices called network switch and network tap. Have you heard about a span port, a switch port analyzer or something?
Um, I heard about network boards, but
Okay,
what details I am not sure. But I heard about board, open board,
right.
close board, change board.
Yep. So previously, without a STAP, they used to have an extra device just for copying the packets or making a Xerox copy of the packets to send to the collector. So the one in red, these are network switches, network tap, all these devices were used to mirror the packets and send it to the collector. But then what happened is it came with disadvantages. So it
Mm,
says hardware, the company should already have a network hardware. It cannot handle additional load, and then it says only recommended if data cannot handle any additional software load. So again, encrypted traffic cannot be monitored. So all these disadvantages started coming in. So they thought of something called STAP. Okay, now this STAP is a small agent which is residing on the database server, which you already know. And actually, to address this disadvantages of these two boxes, they created this agent. But gradually down the line, this became so powerful that nowadays you will never see any such hardware configuration in any of the Guardian projects. All you see is this STAP. Okay, it's a very small agent. Like in Windows you have services, right? So similarly, STAP is also a service or an agent running on the server which has critical information.
mm,
And then it came with a lot of advantages, like it can monitor traffic at an OS level, it can handle encrypted traffic. Most important is you don't need to change anything on the database server itself.
mm.
Okay, you just install it, you tell this agent that, see, this is the database server, this is the IP, start forwarding the traffic.
Yeah.
And as I said, maximum impact on the data server is 5%, which is nominal, right? The database administrator would not even know that there is an agent which is sniffing out the traffic. Any questions for the STAP? Is it clear?
Inshallah, it will be clear.
All right. Okay, so architecture summary is done. uh, we want to start talking about reports because that's what they
Yes.
have asked you to.
Please, teacher, I
Hmm.
review in my mind what happened with the last meeting with the manager. He asked me for three very important. He said he wants see reports, okay,
Hmm.
and he want data classification and safe data. Third,
Hmm.
I remember he talked with me about policies. So
Policies, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so I think these three policies and reports and data classification, if I catch, I
Hmm.
think I will achieve 70% of work on my environment now. If I
Perfect.
understand policies and reports and data classification. Also, he
Hmm.
asked me for encryption. He said there is
Encryption.
IBM module encryption. Did you have
Okay.
uh, is it right? It is a module in IBM Guardium, or it is
Encryption,
external module?
it's actually separate tool. If you want to encrypt data, there are
Uh,
inbuilt methods to encrypt data in Guardium tool, but then there is Guardium data encryption. That's a separate tool
a
of IBM.
separate tool, but it is from Guardium, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Hmm.
So just like we have IBM Guardium database activity monitoring, similarly we have IBM Guardium data encryption. See,
Yes,
I'll show
yes,
you.
yes.
Um,
طيب. Yes. Please, this for titles. We want focus on. Please, teacher.
Yep,
Okay.
here it is. See, this is a separate tool.
IBM security data.
IBM security data encryption. This is a separate solution.
Mhm.
Okay. So shall we start with reports and what they are and how they are built?
Reports. Yes, yes. Yeah. Only I give you titles. You can manage. No problem for me.
All right. Okay. Okay. We'll start with
يعني,
the reports now.
yeah, we can type the يعني titles we want, please.
Yeah.
Reports,
Can you
data
see my screen?
classification,
I've already written in my notepad. You able to see my screen?
policies, and encryption. Yes, yes. Yeah, I see.
Okay. This I'll remove because we already discussed. This is the virtual environment. Okay. I'll click on the shield. Okay. It is pretty small, but we will try to.
Maybe other explorer, it will come better, teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying
And
something out. Firefox. Can I? Okay, there are no options to zoom in, but just click full screen and then close this one here. I'll remove the extra options everywhere. Mm. Are you able to read what's written inside, or it's difficult?
uh, uh, small,
Small
I cannot
letters.
read. Mm.
Hmm.
I think you can copy the link and check another explorer,
Use a
like
magnifier.
hmm,
Okay, something. I'm using the magnifier so
yeah.
that yeah, this may be a little helpful. Um, okay, so if we go back to our labs, okay, okay, we have to log in with lab admin with the PASSWRD. So here I will put in the credentials.
Yeah. شوف, what you put I
PASS.
cannot see. What you type I cannot see.
Okay. What is the solution to that? You able to see the console now?
I see your يعني يعني I see your screen, but
Mm-hmm.
small I cannot read. No
Mm,
problem. I will try to understand.
mm, okay. But then you won't be able to understand things if make everything bigger. I'll say make everything bigger. Let's see. Okay, I made everything bigger and then this particular window. Hmm. Okay, let me try something. Do I have access to any virtual machines? In the formal training that we had access to virtual machines actually. So that comes along with a paid license. So let's say if the formal training, like the 3-day course, is activated, then for the 3 days you get access to VMs. Okay, maybe try. I'll go with your suggestion. I'll try another Explorer.
There is one website give you free tools. Can I share with you?
Yeah, sure.
This name Night.
Okay.
Can you open a new tab and
Yeah.
Night? N yes, this
Okay.
down. Night. Very
But
good website.
I
Trusted
won't be able
website.
to install it
You-
because there is a restriction.
for you on your
Yeah, on my laptop I can't install. That's the thing.
ah, mm, mm, mm. Yeah. I mean, you can install Firefox. It's very good website.
Uh,
I think you know about.
okay. Zoom. Let me say 100%, and then I will also
No
a
option for
little bit better, right? It's a little bit better than before.
and yeah,
Slightly better, I would say, not too much.
no problem, teacher. We can go and yeah, at least I will try to understand.
Yeah. Can you zoom your screen as well from your side?
Uh,
Like zoom out of everything. If that's lab admin with password p @ ssw0rd. Okay, let's go back to the labs. Um, okay, so this step is done. I'm inside the console. Now we want to go to the dashboard. So
yeah,
dashboard is available here. At the bottom
yeah.
left, you click on the clock like icon and you see create new dashboard.
Hmm.
Okay, so I click on that and
Type by my name, please, Juma.
okay.
I will understand more. Your
Your name is Juma. I've been calling you Mohammed all this
okay.
time.
My name Muhammad Juma. Yes,
Okay,
my
full
family
name.
name Juma.
Okay, so I've put in your name. I'll hit
Yeah,
save.
this is my
Okay,
dashboard.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is taking the default values only. So it has taken lab dashboard only, or whatever you type, because this is lab environment. So it's not taking any other name.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay, so this is the place where we will be adding reports when once we have created it.
okay.
Okay, now we have to go to reports, report configuration tools, query report builder. So you want to go to this icon here. Okay, then you want to go to a report configuration tool, which is here, and then you have query or report builder.
Hmm.
Okay, so see, first thing it is asking us to select is the domain. There are list of domains available on the left, which is shown in this screen also. See, the same thing is displayed here. It is saying select domain. So I will select access from here. Do you see access?
Domain. What you mean domain, teacher?
Yeah, domain is the area where you want to get the data. So if let's say if we want access related report, then we will be selecting access in the domain. So it's like you are selecting the area of your interest for the report.
يعني like classification for type title. يعني as example,
Yes.
I want check users. I want check as example access for something.
Hmm. Yeah, so I'll let me show you something. Here it is. See, domain is a view of data. It's as simple as that. So if I select access here, I will be able to see a report of people accessing things.
Hmm.
Okay. If I select, let's say, admin users login, in my report I'll be able to see um, all the admin users and their sessions, nothing else apart from that. If I say alter command execution, then in my report I will be able to see everything around alter commands. Okay, so see, when you start making a report, right, before making a report you decide what data you want to see in that report, correct?
Sure. Mm.
So here we have decided that we want access related data, and therefore we have selected domain as access.
Mhm.
Okay, now as per the labs, we have to type the query name. So if you want to create anything new in Guardium, just click on the plus sign.
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as you click on the plus sign, it will ask you for a query name. So the query name you have to put is trusted sessions. So in the end, our end goal is we want a report of all the database administrators who we trust and their
Yes.
sessions. Okay, so I will type. It's not very much readable, but I put in a query name, trusted sessions, and then next step is selecting the main entity. Now because we are interested in the sessions that they have created, the trusted sessions, I will select the main entity in the report as sessions. Here it is. Okay, so we have given the query name, we have given the main entity name, and all you have to do is click next now. Okay, so far we haven't told Guardium about the columns or conditions. We have just given the name of this query and what details we want in that query. Any questions so far?
How to select details?
How to select details, you mean? I didn't get
Yeah,
the
يعني
question.
data I want. يعني as
Yes.
example, I
Hmm.
okay, I will make a quick report for employee rating. يعني as example, attendance, time attendance. I have
Right.
database for attendance. I want to make
Mm-hmm.
report for my manager from IBM about 10 employees when they start come in and when they left. Yeah, when they log in,
Okay.
come to work, and when they left, as example.
Okay. So there are 10 database administrators, you mean, right? And
No, no, I
they.
mean there is one database for time attendance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will suggest one scenario. Now, if we
Okay.
have database for time attendance, the manager asked me, Muhammad Juma, you have to give me a report
Mm-hmm.
regarding 10 employees. He gave me name. This here we
Mm-hmm.
will put the condition where their ID like this, okay? And he
Okay.
said this 10 employees, I want check when they come in and when they left because he
Right.
has or he already received report from another employee, but manager want to compare my report with another employee report because
Right.
HR employee he has permission and he can update time for in and out.
Right.
So he is admin for system of attendance. But manager,
Right.
as example, he want check يعني actual data from database, not from the system.
Okay. So first thing is this time attendance database being monitored by Guardium?
Yes.
Okay. Which means whatever happens in this database will go to the collector, right?
Mhm.
Now, we as Guardium administrators can make a report on the collector only, which is why we are doing the report
Mhm.
builder exercise, right? So when these guys log in, it will reach the collector. This is clear. Data going to the collector,
Yeah.
right? Now you have to come here and select the main entity as access, like we are doing, right? You have to select main entity as access, and sorry, domain as access, and main entity as again sessions, like we are exactly doing. And then in the report that you're creating, in the columns that you're selecting here, there is
But
also a column for timestamp.
1 minute, teacher, please.
Hmm.
As example, now I will tell you about our status now. We have server, SQL
Hmm.
server database.
Hmm.
On this SQL server, we have three databases.
Okay.
One for attendance, second for ERB system, third for uh, visiting system, as example.
Okay.
How can,
Okay.
yeah, when I start report, how can I identify the database what I want, and how can I identify the table what I want?
Yeah. So first thing is all the data that would have come out of this databases, right?
Yeah,
All the data would have reached the collector in some point in time.
because maybe one instance have many databases.
That is correct. So if all the activities happening on this database servers would reach the
Mhm.
collector, right? Because collector is collecting all the activities. You agree?
Yes, yes.
Now, to identify, like your question is, how do I identify which table do I create a report from?
Yeah, first I have to identify the database. Second, I have to
Yes,
identify the table, what data I want to take from.
correct. So that happens in the conditions, okay, where we spoke about the where clause.
Mm.
So in the where clause, you can mention that where database equal to the attendance, or you can say, you can tell the collector that where database name has the keyword attendance in it.
I have to type, or there is wizard options.
You have to type because you will be the one who knows the database name.
يعني no
Like,
wizard option to select the database.
not really, not really. You have to actually type in a field, you know. So,
Now, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, but here it will be difficult. Why? Because يعني some databases has many tables, many views. If I want to create report for everything, uh, it
No,
will
it
take
won't be
time to.
difficult.
Mhm.
It won't be difficult. You'll see how you, as you proceed with the steps, you'll see, you'll get some clarity on how reports are made, and you'll exactly get the report you want, at the end. So see, query building has several steps. We just did the naming. Okay, we haven't told Guardium which columns, which tables. That's the next step. So in
Mm.
these sections that you see at the bottom are the steps. We will tell Guardium which table, what conditions, etc., which
In,
columns.
in in this window, we will not select the database.
Uh,
يعني
we
where is
can we
the address of database here?
Yeah, it will be in the conditions. We'll reach there soon. So let's click on the next.
Mm.
So see what happens is I gave the naming. That is why there is a green tick mark here on top. Okay. Once I'm done with that, that window shrinks and a new window opens, which is asking me to select columns. Okay, so
Mm.
as for the manual, let's go ahead and select the columns that we require. So which are the columns? Um, so client IP, I will select client IP and then click on this arrow to select that column. So I selected client IP, which is the next column. Next column is server IP, DB username, source program. Let's quickly select that. Server IP. I'll move it to the right. Okay, first I'll select everything and then move all of them together. DB username, and then last one was source program, right? So source program, then move it to the right. So in the end, we will have a report with all these four things. So if you go to the Excel file here, right? In the end, we will have a report which says client IP, server IP, DB username, and source program. Okay, this is our end goal. So Guardian will give us a nice report of all these things. And what will the data be? So data will be of um, users whom we trust. So the usernames that you see in the report in the end will be the users whom we trust. So let's see how that is done. So what we have done so far is given the name of the query. We have selected columns. Okay, what is the next step? Next step is to select. There is something that is missing here. Um, 4 entities are there. That is correct. Click save. Is there a save option at the bottom? Let's see. Here it is. Okay, what is the next option? Um, Select count. So it says query saved successfully. Now there is a little button called count. So what does this do? So if I select count, right, rather than this collector showing me individual lines for one user, let's say the user was Scott, rather than
Mhm.
showing Scott, Scott, Scott multiple times, it will club all these and it will say 8 sessions uh, logged in by Scott. Okay, so rather than multiple lines, it will club all the sessions by one user and will give a count to it. All right, what is the next step here? We have to sequence the columns. So it may be possible that the management says, first you should have the username, then the client IP. Okay, so this kind of sorting we are doing it now. So
Mhm.
according to the manual, I want to select the DB username and we have to set the positions. This DB username, yeah, I set it to the second position. Right, what is the next step? So you see select columns are selected, that is why you see a green tick mark before this.
Yeah.
Query name is selected, you see a green tick mark. Now the question is of sorting. So the management may say sort this report like we are doing it in Excel, right? If I can just put a filter, I do a sort. So let me put some names here. Okay, so I'm telling Guardian that sort by, so which columns have they selected? Let's see. Sort by columns, we have to select. So sort by columns, click on the plus sign, and we have to sort by client IPs. This one. Okay, and then we have to select DB username as another column. Click on the plus sign again, select DB username. Okay, these two things are done. Click
الصوت والله.
next.
وقت الصوت.
Yeah, so
وقت
what have we
الصوت.
done here? If so, client IP, I'm just
وقت
putting
الصوت
some
وقت
numbers here.
الجوال. هات الجوال. وقت الصوت. او روح برا على الصالة. يلا روح على الصالة. روح. روح على الصالة يلا. يلا روح على الصالة. خذ احرامك. يلا روح على الصالة. حبيبي يلا شاطر. Yes, teacher.
Yeah, so we did sorting on 2 columns. So we told this collector that first you have to sort by DB user, sorry, first you have to sort by the client IP. Okay, so first Guardian will sort the client IP in ascending order. Once this sorting is done, then it will give preference to the DB username in sorting. So then this will be sorted. That's what's happening in the sort operation here. Okay, now it's time to add condition. To coming to your question, uh, where can I select the database name?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so here you say, you tell Guardian that show me the report only with the database, or let's say with the client IP, because you have selected client IP column, right? um, you can say give me only the report with the client IP that ends with .60, something like that. Or you can still give a condition called DB name. So here if you click on the lens, right, you have a lot of entities present. So you can tell Guardian to give you the report of, see, this is a report of trusted session by uh, by users, right? So we are telling Guardium that give me the report only by people whom we trust. Okay, by selecting the condition here. So from the client server entity, I will say DB username. I will select that, and I will say it should be in the group of in group. Actually, they should have selected trusted. Yeah, lab trusted users. I think there is a mistake in the manual. You know, so there should be lab trusted users, but they have selected privilege by mistake. And then I will say save. See, what we are doing now is trying to create a report on the collector. Okay, by giving conditions, by selecting columns, and all these things.
Type about conditions. We will not type.
Uh, See,
Yeah.
we could
Yani
have typed.
you know for every database there are, it is depend on type of database. So maybe I have multi-condition. I have to
Right.
select that.
See, there
Uh,
comes the concept of groups. I think we
mhm,
covered groups a little bit in the last to last week, right? So, if you want your report around certain databases, then you can create a group of databases. So you can say where DB username, or where database name is in group of, let's say, trusted databases.
mhm.
Okay, so there is an option to type the name as well, but if you don't want to type, you can create a group of databases already. So what you do is, maybe it may be a little bit tricky for you to understand now, because we haven't yet covered groups properly, right? In fact, let me simplify even more. Let's say database, right? You said you have multiple database. You can say A, B, C,
Yes.
D,
Already
E,
we have multiple database, many databases.
right? So you can tell Guardium that make a group of this database and name it as trusted database. So there is a feature called group builder in Guardium where you can club multiple databases
Mm,
and make one group out of it. So in my conditions, what I'll tell Guardium is uh, give me the report of databases which belongs to this group.
mhm.
Okay, so I don't have to type like I did for DB username. I can do it for
So
databases.
project
Now
concept.
it's time to add the query to the dashboard. There is an option called add to dashboard,
Mm.
and we had created one dashboard in the beginning. I'll just say add a report.
If there are many dashboard, I can select from this
You can
window.
select. Correct.
Yeah,
You can
it will
select.
show me more data dashboard if it is available, right?
That is true. Yes. Okay. So I clicked on add dashboard, and then as we saw, it prompted for a dashboard name, and then we have to go to our dashboard. Click save, query saved, and then we have to go to the dashboard. My custom dashboard. This is a dashboard that we created. Okay, right now you can see four columns: one, two, three, four, and our query, that is trusted sessions.
Mm.
Right? There is no data
Uh,
seen within. Let's see.
I will tell you, you know this
Hmm.
no data scene in
Yeah.
our system now, many like this. يعني, I have meeting last week with manager.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to see some reports. He said, why no data found, no data found. You have to check. He said to me. I told him I will check, but it is not. I told
Coming.
him there
Yeah.
was employees before me. They should make it,
Right.
not me. But anyway, I will check it. My boss. He said, okay, you have to
Hmm.
check and let me see something next week.
Sure.
So now it is a task for me to show him
Mm-hmm.
some reports next week.
Right. So first thing you want to do is check whether the query which is behind the report is correct.
Mm,
Okay, so something that we did earlier, all these steps. Make sure that those steps are correct. And secondly, if you want to see more and more data, then you need to click on this edit mode here. You see the little option called edit mode on top,
Yeah.
right? This report is blank, but as per the manual, I have to click on the edit mode. So let's click on edit mode.
Mm.
As soon as you click on edit mode, some options are displayed on top of the report,
Yeah.
right? You want to click on this little icon, this
Yeah.
the apparatus like icon.
Mm.
So what we see on the screen is showing only data for the last 3 hours, which is why it is blank, because in the last 3 hours there are no trusted sessions established by anyone.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now instead of now minus 3 hours, we have to change it to um, review and accept. So you can change it to some value and then hit OK. You can say now minus 1 year or now minus 1 month, something like that.
Yeah.
And then hit OK. You should see some data.
Mm. You update now, right?
Yeah, it's just a standard lab process. Otherwise, in real world, you have to keep trying until you see some data.
Mm-hmm.
See, no data can be received under two to three conditions. Number one is your query itself is incorrect, which means your conditions, your columns you selected is wrong. So then you want to click on the pencil icon here, this little pencil icon. It will take you
Mm.
to the query builder and you review your query thoroughly.
Yeah.
Okay. Second thing is the range that we selected, like this thing that's here is incorrect. Because as I
Mm.
mentioned, if it was a trusted sessions report, it is fairly possible that there are no sessions established at all in the last 3 hours. Nobody logged in. That is why the report is blank.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay, this is how you create a simple query and a simple report.
Yes.
A second exercise was to review the updated report. So as per this exercise, we have to view the group members first. Okay, let's go to the group builder. So it's in setup, which is I think this one, tools and views. It is
Mm.
asking us to go to the builder, group builder. Okay. Now you remember we selected lab privilege users group in our query.
Mm.
So as a part of this exercise, we are supposed to review that query. So what you want to do is where there is a little filter, I can just type lab privilege users, lab here. So one group can be used at multiple places. It can be used in discovery scenario, policy, and query. Because we are using this group in a query, there is a little tick mark, green tick mark, showing that this group is being used somewhere.
Mm.
Okay, now we want to click edit, and then we want to see the members. So we see three members, DB2INST1, Joan, and Joe. Okay, so it says in the next task you generate activity for Joe and Joe. This is an ideal example where where your manager also would come to you and say, uh, can you create an activity report for two users? So he will give you two user names and you have to create a report.
Yeah.
Okay, so here also we are doing the same thing in the practical. There are two users, we are creating a report of their activities. So let's go back to the dashboard, lab dashboard, and let's hit refresh. Okay, there is some step we have to do before I think. Yeah, so here is Joe and Joan. Yeah, there should have been a refresh icon. So my lab dashboard, newly added data, click refresh.
Yeah.
Sort the users in descending order. Okay, I sorted. It says this concludes the lab. So in short, the query and report that we made, right? If this is a trusted session, so your manager may come to you and say that, can you tell me what activities Joe and Joan did? Right. So we saw that when we clicked on sorting on the DB username, we could see Joe and Joan's activity. So you can just export this report from here and give it to your
Mm.
management.
Yes.
Finish. This is the end of reporting exercise.
I can make many reports, or there is يعني maximum number for reports.
See, there will be hardly a case where you have to create queries and reports because there are around 400 inbuilt reports on Guardium.
Hmm.
Okay, so you'll not get so there will be hardly a case. Let me show you report builder and that window which shows by default. Um, where is queries and reports here? If you scroll down and if you see the report builder, hmm, where is that? Yeah, you see this line, it says over 600 predefined reports are already present.
Hmm.
Okay, so if your manager comes to you and asks for a specific report, just go to the report builder and search the name of that report.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
600 predefined reports are present. You can clone that report, which means you can copy the predefined report from here and you can add or remove more conditions if you want. Okay, so I think once you are, once you're in your lab and in your environment, try to just see how the query report builder is, and try to just experiment with it, because it is harmless. Nothing really impacts if you create reports.
Yeah.
You can try to learn by just logging onto the report builder.
Okay.
Okay. We will be doing one more lab. You think we should stop here? Or you want me to continue with the report
Uh,
building?
no problem. We can stop, teacher. Tomorrow you
Hmm.
have time, inshallah?
Uh, Tomorrow is what is Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Tomorrow it will be a challenge because I have to travel to another place, and unfortunately, that's during the evening hours.